All right, so today we're going to break down the arguments for a huge U.S. military operation against Iran, all based on a recent broadcast. We're going to walk through the military goals, the economic side of things, and, of course, the massive political debate that exploded right after. Okay, let's get into it.
So the broadcast we're pulling from, man, it wastes no time. It jumps right into the action, reporting that a major military op against Iran isn't just being planned, it's happening right now. The tone is set from the get-go. Things are moving, and they're moving fast. And just like that, we get the mission's codename, Operation Epic Fury. The very first message from the administration, as presented in the source, is just pure confidence. The official line? Everything is going exactly as it should. Okay, so what's the official reason for such a massive strike? I mean, what's the why behind all this? Let's move on and break down the stated military objectives to really get a handle on it. According to the officials quoted in this segment, the goals were, well, they were huge and really clear. Number one priority, making sure Iran can never, ever get its hands on a nuclear weapon. And to do that, the operation was apparently carrying out a systematic destruction of Iran's missile belt, its launchers, and its entire naval force. And wow, this next quote really hammers home the scale of what was being reported. An official is quoted giving this incredibly blunt assessment, basically saying Iran's Navy, its Air Force, and its critical radar systems, all of it, just knocked out. You know, the way the broadcast presents all this is as a preemptive action. The idea, as they lay it out, is that the president looked at the intel, did a kind of cost-benefit analysis, and decided to strike first because he believed an attack from Iran was coming any second. But look, this fight wasn't just about jets and ships. The source material makes it super clear there was a whole other war being fought. Let's dig into the economic battle and see how that played out. So the argument here is that Iran's big play was to hit back where it hurts, the wallet. The goal? Inflict so much financial pain on the U.S. and its allies in the region that the political pressure at home would eventually force the American military to just, declare victory and leave. And the absolute bullseye for this economic battle? The Strait of Hormuz. A mind-boggling 20% of all the world's oil flows right through that narrow passage. As the source material points out, any problem there sends immediate shockwaves across the entire globe. And you know where those shockwaves supposedly hit home? Right at the gas pump. The broadcast pointed to the national average hitting $3.11, calling it the sharpest jump they'd seen since March of 2022. Now, you can't have an action this big without a massive political firestorm back home, right? So let's pivot to the political fallout that, according to the broadcast, blew up almost instantly. And right away, the broadcast claims a huge accusation started flying around, and it all boiled down to one really pointed question. Was this America's war, or was the U.S. pushed into it by its ally, Israel? So here you have it, the two totally opposite stories laid out side by side. On one side, you have the critics saying, this is Israel's war, not ours. And on the other, you've got the president's comeback, basically flipping the whole thing around and suggesting that, if anything, he was the one pushing the issue. And the criticism wasn't just about why this happened, but also how it happened. The host brings up comments from Representative Hakeem Jeffries, who's quoted calling the whole operation an unauthorized war and just saying the entire situation is insane. But see, according to the host of this broadcast, all this political fighting is just scratching the surface. She argues the real conflict isn't about policy details at all. So here's the key takeaway from the host. Forget the policy debates for a second. The real fight, she says, is over your fundamental belief about what America even is and what its role in the world should be. And this really breaks down the two camps, at least as the host sees them. In one corner, there's this idea that America is fundamentally corrupt, and because of that, it needs a permission slip from the international community to use its military. And in the other corner, there's the view that America is special and that its military's number one job is to protect its own people, no matter what anyone else thinks. And to really nail down that second viewpoint, here's the core justification that was offered up by a guest on the show. The argument is basically that taking these dangerous weapons away from, as they put it, radical clerics is something that makes the whole world safer, and that's why the U.S. had to act. So we end up right where the broadcast wanted to leave us. It frames this whole thing not just as a debate over one military strike, but as something way bigger, a battle over a huge, fundamental question about America's purpose. It suggests the real conflict isn't just about Iran. It's about what America is and what it's supposed to be.